The union movement is calling it the most savage attack on workers' compensation in a generation. The state government has unveiled its new WorkCover laws, and they're even tougher than expected. State political reporter Eliza Blue is at Parliament House.
Juanita, it's less than 6 months since Barry O'Farrell first raised plans to overhaul WorkCover in a bid to wind back the $4 billion deficit. Now, in that time, we've seen big union protests and a parliamentary investigation, but it hasn't slowed the government. It wants the changes in before the new financial year, and it's going to ram that bill through the House before the MPs go on their long winter break. The Premier was the star attraction at a primary school spelling bee.
An ARY preliminary.
A rare moment of peace in a frantic week as the government uses its numbers to rush through changes to the workers' compensation scheme. Back in Parliament, he accused the opposition of allowing the scheme to languish when it was in power.
I certainly hope, Madam Speaker, for the benefits of those opposite, that one of the words in the spelling bee this year is hypocrite.
The Premier says WorkCover loses $9 million a day.
I'm proud to be leading a government team prepared to tackle another hard issue, determined to see this issue through in the interests of workers of this state.
The government's bill means injured workers will have to pay their own medical bills after 1 year. Weekly benefits will run out after 5 years, with exceptions for seriously injured claimants. And there'll be no compensation for workers that injure themselves on the way to and from work. The changes will apply to all existing claims, and that's enraged the union movement.
The sick and injured workers in this state, and those who may become sick or injured as a consequence of simply going to work, are now deeply concerned about their futures.
To add insult to injury, the reforms also touch on and affect those workers whose families have suffered a fatality, either travelling to and from work.
The government introduced its bills into the House late this afternoon.
Both of these bills were dropped on the opposition not yet an hour ago, and not one member of this Parliament who is not a part of the government has had the opportunity or the courtesy yet of having been briefed by this government.
The disadvantage of having been in here for a while is that you guys did this frequently. We are doing it now because there is a necessity. You did. Oh yes, you did.
The government expects the lower house to approve the bill tonight. Now, the government doesn't have a majority in the upper house, and it's struggled to get its bills passed. But the WorkCover legislation has the support of the shooters and the Christian Democrats, which means that bill will pass through the House this week without any amendments.
Eliza Blue reporting there.